Hey, what's up guys, Sir Emanon here, and welcome to another video. So this is going to be another episode of Road to 1000 Dueling Book reading, and we're going to be continuing with Tri-Brigade Lyrilusc up against our opponent, NixFan422 on Trap Eldlich actually. And I did realize that in the previous episode, I forgot to put my current rating as well as the record on screen, so there it is for you guys right now. Also, I did change around some of the audio settings for this video, so please let me know in the comments if things sound okay, or if I need to change things up a bit again, because I did notice that in previous videos, my mic was peaking in ways that I was not really super happy about, so I just wanted to change things up. But yeah, let's just go ahead and get started with this matchup here without any further ado. So we do win the RPS here, and that is, of course, pretty important to try and win in most matchups. So we're going to choose to go first, of course, and our opening hand is going to be Fractal, Foolish Burial, Kit, Burial Canary, and Cobalt Sparrow. So this hand is quite strong, 5 engine cards essentially, and while none of them are Warbler, it is enough for sure to be able to just combo here. And then their opening hand going second is going to be Skill Drain, Dogmatica Punishment, Inspector Border, Solemn Judgment, and Torrential Tribute. So you can tell that even though there's no Eldlich card to begin with here, there's a lot of traps, and not really any other deck is playing this high concentration of traps than Eldlich right now. So yeah, we're going to go ahead and begin things off with a Fractal. That's going to go and send us a copy of Nerval to grave, and then Nerval is going to add us a copy of Karos to hand. And then we're going to go ahead and activate the Karos right here. We're going to pitch this Kit that we drew, and then we're going to summon out the Karos, and then Kit is going to activate, and that's going to dump a copy of Oath, which we are main decking now. So yeah, pretty much everybody's main decking Droplet at this point in time, so I think that's pretty important to have insurance against that card. And even if they don't have it, it's nice to be able to just supplement the board with like wider coverage, because the board is pretty good against monsters. You have like your Utopic Draco Future usually, you have like your multiple bounces with Ensemble Robin, you have DDL and stuff. I just think that this is a nice kind of like addition to that if you can get to it, which is fairly consistent if you watch my test hand video, which you can check out. I'll leave a link to that in the card in the top right. But yeah, I think Oath is pretty solid to main deck right now. And also I will be updating the deck profile in the next coming days by the time you guys see this. So stay tuned for that. But yeah, carrying on here, we're going to go ahead and activate our copy of Karos. That's going to go and banish 2 to summon out a copy of Farid. And then Farid is going to summon out this copy of Cobalt Sparrow as well, so that's going to trigger to search us a Nerval from deck to hand. And then from here, we can just link away into this Simorg, and then we're going to go and trigger the Baron Blossom. We pick up a DD Crow, which is decent. It's not like amazing, but we'll take some non-engine because this Foolish is a bit redundant right here. I could have kept the Foolish to send like a Wagtail to get follow-up that way, which is also not a bad choice, but I want to like more interruptions just in case I needed it, because we can't end on Draco Future. Well, we could, but I chose not to, since I want to really just end on like the Ensemble Robin as well. Because like I wouldn't have had enough gas basically for the Xyz unless if I like specifically, I guess, kept Foolish Burial and I just tried to go that way, which would have been decent, but I decided to just go this route instead. So we normal summon Nerval, and then we banish 2 for the DDL, and then we're gonna go ahead and Burial Canary out this copy of Sparrow. And we're going to overlay everything into Robin, and then we're going to pass on the Apex Avian, which also is different from my previous list. Yeah, kind of similar in concept to the Oath, just more coverage against like powerful spell starters, things like, I don't know, Nadir Servant or like Bird Call in the Mirror, just stuff like that. So yeah, going to go ahead and pass here. They draw a copy of Judgment, so now they have 2 Judgments in hand. And here they normal summon Inspector Border, and I don't quite catch on to the fact that it's Eldlich yet. So yeah, they're going to go Battle Phase, and then they're going to go and tack into our DDL. At this point, I honestly thought it might have been like Draco or like Stun or something. So I pitched this DD Crow, which would have been heavily punished if they had like, say, Hard Drawn Golden Lord plus like a Spell Trap or Eldritch Spell Trap. This would have come in handy for sure there. But yeah, thankfully they didn't actually end up having it. So I could have gotten punished there, but I figured that like, if it is Stun, then I want this to be like, I want to get rid of the weakest card that I have right here, and this, I think, fits the bill, because sending away Karos turns off my Oath, of course. I really want to keep the Simorg for follow-up, and then setting these 2 doesn't really make much sense either. So yeah, just going to go ahead and set 5, and then we're going to trigger the Simorg in the end phase. It's going to go ahead and grab us a copy of, not Fractal, because that's not a legal target. We're going to go ahead and grab Cobalt Sparrow, and that's going to go and search us a Nerval here. So we draw for turn, and then I make a huge punt this turn, and it's really not, I can't justify it in any way. I just, honestly, my brain did not think about this very well. So yeah, they activate Punishment here, and I literally just let it resolve for no reason, even though I could easily just negate this with Oath. So I'm like trying to play around as much as possible. And then I just totally forgot that my oath would be shut off if my DDL gets cleared. So if I negate negate with oath, like the rest of the back row is just dead. So yeah, I don't know what I was thinking there. My thought process just didn't make any sense. So yeah, definitely got punished, of course, which is deserved. No pun intended. But yeah, we're gonna normal summon out Nerval. They're just gonna go ahead and Torrential here, and then when we Avian, they're just gonna go ahead and skill drain it. So yeah, our entire board gets wiped. That definitely is, I have nobody to blame but myself. I can't even be mad at that one because that's literally just my own fault. So Nerval is gonna go ahead and search us, as well as the Robin adding back Barrow Canary. But right now we're kind of just gonna be playing beatdown mode essentially. So yeah, we're gonna go ahead and summon out this copy of Sparrow with the Barrow Canary, and we're gonna overlay for Assembled, and then we're gonna go into the battle phase. It's negated by Skill Drain. Really just want to have a big body in the form of Zeus, because I know that borders in their hand. So I'm like, all right, at least I can maybe stabilize if, I have like a big beat stick to just contest their border, because again, I still don't know if they're on Eldlich. Or I don't know that they are on Eldlich, but yeah, this is getting judgmented. So we're just gonna set Chalice and then pass. They draw Solemn Strike for turn, and then they're gonna normal out border. They're gonna attack for some good damage right there, and then they're gonna set Strike and pass. We draw Droplet for turn, and then we're gonna go ahead and normal summon out Fractal. We're gonna go to the battle phase, and then we're gonna go ahead and Chalice our own Fractal in the damage step just to try and clear this border, but that's gonna get judgmented too. And then it's here where basically I just lose. We're gonna just pass here. They draw Conquistador. They go to battle phase. They're gonna attack for 2K. They're gonna set pass. We draw Nibiru, very very dead, and then yeah, we lose that one. So that is nobody's fault but my own. I'm gonna own up to that. That's just a complete misplay on my end. Completely winnable game. But I think the important thing is that when you make a huge glaring misplay like that, you really just gotta bounce back and try and recover. So we're gonna move into game 2 here. So we're gonna go first again. We open Red Reboot, Nerval, Bird Call, Warbler, and Chalice. So not only is our hand actually better than the last one, just because like Warbler openings are the strongest ones generally, but we have Reboot, which is great. And then their hand going second is gonna be Strike, Huaquero, Lava Golem, Skill Drain, and Goes and Match. So pretty scary to face a Lava Golem. But yeah, we're gonna just try and full combo. And so yeah, we're gonna go ahead and Bird Call for Cobalt Sparrow. I didn't want to make my opponent go first, just because if they went first with this hand, it would have been just crippling. If I didn't open Reboot, I opened Reboot regardless, so I guess that makes it a moot point, but I have a better chance, I think, to just try and go first and set up here. But yeah, I'm going to go ahead and Warbler into Sparrow. We're going to search our Sapphire, and then we're going to go and overlay for this Recital. We're going to go and search for a copy of Barrow Canary. And then pretty much we're ahead by one search since we opened the Nerval, so we get the extra Tri-Beast in hand that we need, which is important as well because we opened Bird Call. So like the play typically is like you go and search Wagtail, and then you search the Bird Call that way when you summon it off the Farid, so that you can end on the Oath Engrave as well as the Simorg and then Kara setup at minimum, and then like an extra Tri-Beast gets you to preserve the Barrow Canary that we would search off the Bird Call if you were able to get there. But opening Bird Call again kind of muddles that plan. But yeah, we're still gonna grab Wagtail here. And then we're going to go and Nerval search for Kip. Something that I've thought about kind of more recently is that I probably should just be searching a duplicate copy of Nerval, because some people have been ashing this Nerval Engrave right here. So just having the Tri-Beast to be able to follow up instead of ending only on Utopic Draco Future plus the Robin would be nice, because then you can at least end on the Apex Avian with Simorg setup in addition, even though you don't get the Oath Engrave. So these are kind of small points to think about. So we're going to go for Draco Future here, and then we're going to normal out Kit, and then we're going to Kit Banish 4 here, because we again want to end on the Oath. So yeah, we're going to go and link 2 for the Farid. We're going to send Oath to add Karis here, and then we're going to go ahead and summon out the Wagtail. This is the play I was just describing. So normally here, if we grab Bird Call, we can search Barrow Canary off of it, or search whatever really, and then we can pitch that for Karis, and then we have Barrow Canary still. But because again we open Bird Call, that's not really as viable here. And again, I can't stress the importance of the fact that Bird Call is not the same as whatever you want to search. I gotta just stress that pretty much every single time. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and link summon into a copy of the Simorg and then trigger the Farid. So we draw Fractal, and we're gonna put back the Bird Call because this lets us kind of end on the Robin here, which isn't actually that great in this matchup. So I think in hindsight, I probably would have just kept this in hand as follow-up, simply because like it's not really that good in this matchup, because I know that they're on like some sort of trap deck, so really there's not any point to actually commit this to the board right here. So yeah, if I were to do this again, I would just have kept that in hand. So we're gonna go make Robin, we're gonna set Chalice, and then we're gonna go and activate the Simorg in the end phase for this copy of Apex AVM. So they're gonna draw for turn. It's a copy of Dino-Miscus. So yeah, they have Lava Golem, but we have quite a lot here. So they gotta kind of choose pretty much what they want to get rid of right here. So yeah, they're gonna drop Lava Golem on Simorg and the DDL, which I found to be pretty interesting choices. I guess the logic there was that if they traded over Apex, then I would get like more follow-up in the end phase, which I guess is valid. But yeah, that turns off my Oath too, of course. And then we're just gonna go ahead and they're gonna set 4 and pass. We draw, it's another copy of Chalice. And then here, they drop Goes Match and Standby, and then we're gonna chain Reboot, and thankfully they don't have Judgment this time. So yeah, we win that one. So yeah, pretty scary for sure. If we didn't have Reboot, we would have been in pretty big trouble because they had Skill Drain again. And right now my side is not super great against backward decks, which is something that I might consider changing. But just like the current meta, I feel like there's not a whole ton of backward decks. But if you run into them, it could be definitely a bit problematic. So that's something to potentially address in the future. But yeah, we're going to be going second this game. Our opening hand is going to be Nerval, Fractal, Nerval, Wagtail, and Sparrow. So nothing specific for this matchup, unfortunately. We have a lot of Engine. We don't have Warbler again, which is not the greatest, but like it's fine to try and push. So their hand going first is going to be Double Torrential, Trap Trick, Ice Dragon's Prison, and Solemn Judgment. So pretty good. They're just going to go ahead and set 5 pass. If we drew Lightning Storm, we were going to get negated by Judgment anyway, so I don't feel like horrible about it. But yeah, we draw Barrow Canary for turn. So yeah, still no Warbler. We just got to try and make favorable trades. So right here, there's a number of things that we can do. Like we could just try and play the slow game and like, just get in for a small amount of damage and just hope that we can like commit as little as possible to not really get blown out. But I decided to go ahead and try and like clear the board as much as possible, because the Lyriluscs can cycle themselves in a way where you can like grind pretty effectively with them, and I'm gonna kind of show how that works basically here. So we're gonna go ahead and Fractal, send Nerval, and then that's gonna go and grab his copy of Karis. And then we're gonna go ahead and pitch Nerval for Karis. We actually have like all 3 Nervals accessed right here. But yeah, we're gonna go ahead and banish 2, summon out Fairy Jip. And then here, I'm expecting actually a Torrential right here. And when they don't bite, I'm like, this is actually pretty good for me, because now I can just go ahead and summon out Wagtail. And then Wagtail can get us pretty good. And then they choose a Torrential right here. So I would have considered going to Battle Phase if they didn't Torrential. But yeah, we resolve for a Bird Call. So overall, that was 2 cards exchanged for the 1 Torrential. So it wasn't the greatest trade. But we got what was like arguably the biggest blowout out of the way. Now, unbeknownst to me, there's a second Torrential back here. But in my mind right now, I'm thinking, okay, well, we got like the biggest kind of like, equalizer, I should say, out of the way. So now we can kind of, approach things in such a way where we can like pick apart the back row very slowly, right? So yeah, we're gonna go ahead and Baron Blossom here. We draw another Bird Call, not really super fair or effective right here. Sorry. So yeah, we're gonna go ahead and just put 1 back, and then we're gonna go ahead and Bird Call. So that's gonna go and grab Turquoise Warbler, and then here we're gonna Warbler, and then we're gonna bring out Sparrow, and then we're gonna go ahead and Sparrow to search for another copy of Warbler. So yeah, I think in a lot of cases you would search something like Sapphire Swallow, but I'm not expecting my board to really stick around. And basically by having kind of like Warbler plus Sparrow, just kind of continuing to like cycle through each other, I can ensure that I have a play every single turn. It's just like Warbler, summon Sparrow, Sparrow search Warbler, do it again next turn. So yeah, like once I have this kind of train going, I feel a lot better. So yeah, they're gonna be thinking in Resolution. They choose not to drop Torrential here. We're gonna overlay for Recital, and then on summon they're gonna go ahead and Ice Dragon's Prison, which is actually not a card I was expecting, because a lot of people have not really been playing this card for a while. So that caught me off guard a little bit. But I didn't expect the recital to resolve, to be honest, because really what I was going to do there was like grab a search and then try and go for a Zeus play and see if that stuck. And Zeus would have absolutely traded with one of these back row anyways. So yeah, it just forced out an interruption earlier. But I still have Zeus available in my extra deck, which is pretty good. Like, that's a good trade-off. Like, I'll take that. Yeah, and I deliberate on passing here, but I decided it's worth it to go for another trade. Because like Barrow Canary is just like a one card play. Like, you notice that I committed actually just one card, being the Warbler, and then that traded with the one Ice Dragon's Prism. So yeah, like now we both have 3 cards. So I'm still like doing pretty decent, I feel, because again, I don't know that they're on Eldlich yet, but if this is just traps I'm fighting through, I feel okay with having like Nerval Warbler as like follow-up plays. Like, that's pretty solid, I think. So yeah, here they're gonna wipe my board again with Torrential, and I'm like, all right, so I just trade a Canary for another Torrential, and now I'm like, okay, these are some pretty high impact traps. Like, these are pretty good. So yeah, we're gonna pass on this. I feel actually decent about it until they flip up Trap Trick in the end phase, and then they're gonna grab Scarlet. I'm like, oh, okay, so it is Eldlich. Like, I wasn't entirely sure, but now it is confirmed. They are in fact playing Eldlich cards in their deck. So they draw another copy of Ice Dragon's Prison for turn. We're gonna go ahead and just take some damage. You know, not really much we can say or do about it. And then in main phase 2, they're gonna go ahead and second Kisar off this copy of Scarlet, and then they're gonna set this Ice Dragon's Prison and then pass. So they went from 2 cards to 4 cards in the span of their turn, which, you know, obviously isn't great for us, but we still can continue to make pretty favorable trades. We draw Cobalt, which is not great, but it's like decent. It's at least another engine card, which I kind of want a lot of engine cards right here. If I'm not just gonna get like a free Lightning Storm to try and force out this Judgment or whatever. But yeah, we're gonna go ahead and Warbler, and then we're gonna go ahead and Warbler, bring back Sparrow, and then we're gonna go ahead and search for a Barrow Canary. So yeah, I think about going for another Warbler, but I decided that like if I can push more this turn, it's probably worth doing it because it's a matter of time before the Eldritch Engine can just completely outgrind me. Because now I'm on a bit of a timer, and instead of like picking apart things slowly, like I mentioned last turn, I have to speed things up a bit more. So we're gonna go for the Assembled Nightingale, and then we're gonna go ahead and attack. They chose not to Judgment; they're just gonna IDP this instead. I'm gonna chain the Assembled Nightingale just because it will help play around like maybe another Torrential, or like what I know is Conquistador back here, which is pretty good. At least on my Lyriluscs, that is. But yeah, there goes the Assembled, and then main phase 2, we're gonna go ahead and normal out this Nerval. They're gonna Judgment this. And I'm like, okay, this is actually not too bad. We get to trigger Nerval here because it doesn't have to be sent from field to grave, obviously. So we get Fractal, which is decent for next turn. We already went through Karis, so that would have been nice to have like another Karis here because that like would have been a pitch like Cobalt, and that would have forced something else as well. Like that would have probably forced Conquistador because I would have just went to Shirag, and that would have been, you know, pretty decent. But yeah, we decided to just hold off here. Again, I don't feel like committing Barrow Canary does a whole lot here. Because, like, what am I going to make realistically, right? Like, Ensemble Robin is, like, okay, but they can also just pop on Resolution. And that's, like, not too great. Yeah. And also, like, they could even just let me go into Robin in that case. And then they could, like, Conquistador pop it. Since it doesn't target, so, like, Spare Protection doesn't matter. And then... like, I'd be getting, like, back a card with Robin, which is decent, but it's, like, kind of the same outcome as this, right? So I decided it's fine. Another, like, Recital doesn't do a whole lot there either, so yeah, especially in main phase 2. So yeah, they draw Judgment. They're just going to go into the battle phase, and then they're going to attack for 500 and then 25. And then they're going to go ahead and make Lina. I'm not really sure why they made a Lina here. Maybe they were just trying to play around, like, a later top deck, like, Goes match on their end, because everything was light, obviously. Instead of going for like Link Spider. But yeah, like this works too. They're gonna go ahead and grab another copy of Scarlet. So now I'm like, okay, there's Scarlet, which I know is not an interruption, and then there's one more potential interruption lying in wait. So I just have to play through one interruption with these 3 cards, and I think that is pretty reasonable to accomplish. I kept in Chalice for border here. But yeah, we're gonna go ahead and proceed to main phase. We're gonna normal summon out Fractal. That actually just gets Judgmented straight up. I'm like, oh, this is interesting, because now I can actually just go for game right here, because we still have a Recital in our extra deck. So we're going to go ahead and Barrow Canary to bring back this copy of Cobalt Sparrow. We're going to Sparrow Search of Sapphire Swallow just in case, and then we're going to go ahead and overlay for Recital, and then going to use Recital's effect. They scoop before I can do it, but we use Recital's effect to boost their lineup by 600, and then we search, and then we go battle phase. This is on 200, so we both take 2250, and their judgments got them down to 2k, so that would have been game right there. Also, I maybe could have started with Chalice, but I didn't want to do that. So yeah, that is going to be it. So we actually do manage to take this one, even though we hard punted game 1. Yeah, that was inexcusable. I'm not gonna lie. That was very, very bad gameplay. But I think that this game was a pretty good showcase of like how you can kind of just chew through back row. Because like look at the back row we had to fight through this game. It was double Torrential, double Ice Dragons, double Judgment, plus the entire Eldlich engine. So yeah, like this deck definitely can like chew through a lot of back row pretty effectively, as long as you like make favorable trades. And I think that's something that's worth doing. Yeah, because like basically the Baron Blossom turn 1, that's something out the Wagtail, if you recall. Like that put enough bodies on board to threaten Shrag, and so that's like what prompted the Torrential there. So like that's the kind of thing that I think is like pretty, useful to just have and keep in mind, like these kinds of things. But yeah, that's gonna wrap up this video. So thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Leave a like, comment, and subscribe if you did. And until next time, I will catch you in the next video. See you guys.